Today I'll be making homemade sausage rolls for you. I've decided that I'm going to add heaps of vegetables to these sausage rolls, that way it's full of flavour but also you get quite a few nutrients out of it. So I'm going to be using one whole onion, some carrot and also some celery. That's your mirepoix, works perfectly with most savoury dishes. And I'm also going to use some zucchini or some courgette. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is prepare my onion and my celery. I'm going to cook that first, so I'll get that all sorted out. So just preparing my onion. Okay, I'm going to cut that quite fine. Same with my celery, but I'm going to try and cut this even finer. I want that celery to be present, but not a dominant flavour. A lot of people don't like celery, but it actually adds so much flavour to savoury dishes that I quite often use it. And all I'm going to do is grate my carrot so it's nice and fine with small bits. And the same with my zucchini. Skin and all, you get quite a bit of fibre out of the skin of your vegetables, so if you can avoid peeling them, then it's always good to add to your dishes. And now we're just going to cook these ingredients off a bit before we add them to the mince. So there's quite a bit of vegetables that are going to go into this. So it should be full of flavour and turn out quite nice. Okay. So the next process involved is just cooking off these vegetables just a little bit, so then we don't have that raw acidic flavour of the onion and bring out some of the sweetness from the other vegetables. So we'll just get that heat on. So just with a non-stick fry pan. We don't want too much oil because we're going to be using pork mince and that's quite fatty. So I'll probably use just about a tablespoon. So you can put a little bit of onion in to see if it starts sizzling. It's not sizzling yet, so it's not quite ready. Okay, it looks like it's ready to go. That oil's moving around the fry pan quite nicely and that onion's starting to sizzle. So I'm going to add all of that onion and celery mixture together. And we want to sweat off those onions until they're slightly transparent. I'm just going to slightly season that with a little bit of salt, just to bring out those flavours. A little bit of cracked pepper, goes really well with the onion. I can see some of that onion is changing colour, it's going a tiny bit golden. It doesn't smell acidic anymore and all of that is looking quite transparent. So at this stage I'm going to add my zucchini and my carrot and I'm just going to toss that through, give it a bit of temperature, bring out the sugars in that carrot. And I'll just cook that just for another couple of minutes and then I'll turn that off and I'll allow that to cool. So that looks really good. I'm going to turn that off now. And I want to allow that to cool, so I'm just going to transfer that to another plate. Okay, so the next process involved is just a matter of putting all your ingredients together. I've pre-cooked my vegetables. I have 500 grams of pork mince, and I'm going to just add that to my bowl. That's going to go straight in. I've got 2 sheets of puff pastry, and I'm letting that defrost. I have my vegetables, which I pre-cooked earlier, and that's completely cold. Start combining that. I do have some fresh herbs that I want to use. I've got some sage, so I'm going to just chop that nice and fine. Obviously you can modify it, you can add whatever herbs you have available. And I also have some thyme that I'm just going to take those leaves off. That can go in as well. A little bit of salt and pepper. The salt helps bind. I'm also going to use 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and this one is a little bit hot, and that'll just add some nice flavour to it. Okay, looks good. I also have 1 egg that I'm going to use to glaze with a little bit of a mix. And the way that I'm going to do my sausage rolls is I'm just going to cut that in half. I've got my oven preheated. My oven is at 200 degrees. So I'm going to divide my mixture into 4 because I'm going to get 4 large sausage rolls and spread it in the center of my pastry. And now what I'm going to do is roll this over with a basting brush. Just add some egg to one side, that way it'll stick down. And just with a fork, I'm going to score the top on a slight angle. Get that on my baking tray. And I'll do the same process 4 times. Glaze it with some of that egg mixture. That way it'll turn out nice and golden. And just as a finishing touch, I have some poppy seeds, just for that little bit of contrast. And that's going to go into the oven. Now once they're nice and golden, they should be pretty good to go. And we'll see what they look like when we take them out of the oven. So they were in the oven for about 25 minutes at 200 degrees. They've turned out really nice and golden, and you can just cut them up. They look great. Nice flaky pastry, and goes really well with a tomato relish. And that tastes really good as well. Delicious.